as we continue to take a look at candidates running for office here in Lubbock. Joining me in studio right now, Phile Johnson, running for municipal court judge. And Phil, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, glad to have you in studio today. Tell folks a little bit about yourself and why you decided to jump into the race.
I was a 16-and-a-half-year police officer. I was born and raised in Lubbock originally. Start a little further in the background. Went to Monterey and then went to Texas A&M, and I understand I got better. Ended up going to Texas Tech Law and doing well there. I was started with the Lubbock Police Department back in 1996. Was an accident investigator, undercover narcotics operative, field training officer, and then ended up making sergeant and was there for about the last 8.5 years as a supervisor. Was also internal affairs, and during that time, that's when I did go to Tech Law. Was a tutor there, also finished in the top third of my class, and then at that point in time, jumped out, went into private practice, and have been doing that for about 8 years now.
What do people need to know about municipal court and why it matters?
Well, and I've actually got the stats for it, but most everybody that comes into contact with the legal system, for the most part, they do. It's with municipal court. They don't really deal with other cases like I deal with the criminal side, such as misdemeanors and felonies. And so, that being said, that is where a large amount of the populace comes into play. And in fact, the amount I ran the stats from both municipal court and the criminal side, if you will. They're more serious. And the criminal side only makes up, it's 13% of all of the amount that municipal court actually files case-wise. So therefore, the everyday lay citizen will most likely come into contact through either a citation for speeding, red light, one of those traffic or codes such as weeds, stormwater drainage, or parking. And then finally, some of the state regulations such as Class C assaults or minor in consumption, minor in possession, or typically driver under the influence by minor, so it's under 21 and having any detectable amount of alcohol in your system. So that being said, that's where the large amount of contact will come into play with everybody. So it actually is kind of more of a widespread contact-based court rather than more of a unique areas such as the regular criminal courts that people see, or lawsuits on the civil side as well.
So what, in your mind, when you're talking to voters out there and reminding them that, yes, there is this portion of the election, too. It's not just mayoral.
We do matter.
Or city council. Yeah. We matter. And you have an opponent in this race, a couple of opponents in this race. So what do you tell them as far as, separation, why they should vote for you, why it matters, who wins this spot, I guess? My
experience is going to be more broad. Again, I've seen both sides of it. I've worn the hat of both the police officer, but then also the attorney who's going in front of municipal court as well. So I think that broad base, and also the fact is, frankly, I'm a little bit younger, and so the technological issue. And one of the major issues that I've found talking to people, all the way from business owners to hourly people to everybody that runs the spectrum, is that there is a very big issue with the deficiency on the technological side of our municipal court. You might as well just call a spade a spade. Nobody enjoys getting a citation. That is not pleasant in anybody's world. However, whenever you have the collateral consequences of people getting the citation and then having to take off work, away from their kids, and then go down and spend an hour and a half to 2 hours just trying to resolve that citation, then that causes a problem. And one of those issues that I really am looking at is the website. I mean, if you look at the website, it's probably, if there has been any updates, it looks like it's about a 2000 or even earlier sort of website. There's no way to actually be transparent so people can understand what their rights are. And also, if they want to, just take care of the citation online. And everything, of course, today is web-based. Right. And you look at it, and what I've compared it to is You go to a bank in 1996, it is not the same thing that you're going to go in today. Almost everything is done online or in some sort of manner or variation. And that's what I would want to implement so that people can get on with their lives a whole lot more easily and also, frankly, cut back at some point in time on the budget. I mean, because right now you have to have people man that because that's the only way to take care of these. And so that, therefore, goes into the budget. You have to pay those employees and all their concomitant retirement, everything that goes with that.
Right. Is there a lot that, as far as citations go, that people could just take care of online and not have to go down to the municipal court for?
Absolutely. And if you look at some of the other larger metropolitan areas, such as Austin, Dallas, their sites actually allow for that. You can pay if you want to take care of it that way. And we would also look at going ahead and if you're going to request deferred adjudication, if you're going to request some sort of defensive driving to see if you actually qualify for any of those, or if you want to contest it. And then at that point in time, you can just run through that, and it would take 5 minutes rather than actually having to leave, drive down to municipal court, and expend the time, money, and energy in order to take care of it that way as well.
Visiting with Phile Johnson, candidate for municipal judge. We've got about a minute and a half left, so I'll ask you this as we begin to wrap it up. You said that you've seen kind of both sides of this. What was it that just said, you know what, I want to run for municipal judge?
Well, I worked a lot of overtime and actually got to see, and I participated in arraignments. I probably well over 200 to 300 arraignments. So I've seen the different magistrates, and one of the candidates does do a lot of that, along with probably about 8 to 10 other criminal defense lawyers. That's what they do, and then also testifying as well. Furthermore, it kind of runs in the family. I've got a dad who's a judge,
right?
And so I've seen that, and that's where you can actually go in, make good common sense judgments, rule on the law, and help people through the process and make sure that it's done correctly.
Has he kind of given you any advice as far as the race goes?
He has given me some insight on what to. Sometimes it's better what not to say. So, of course, your judge candidate, you can't say how I'm going to rule or what I think about a certain law or whatnot. That's legislating from the bench, and I'm very anti on that position. I am not going to do that. And so, if there's an ordinance issue or something like that, if they want to talk to me about it, that's fine. But that's up for the city council to change. And obviously, if it's a state-based issue, it's up for the legislature to change.
Right. Tell folks where they can find out more information about you online, and I guess if there's any way for people to get in touch with you through your website or whatever that may be.
Absolutely. It's Johnson for Judge 2016. And that's .com, and it's JOHNSONFORJUDGE 2016.com. And that's also, we have the same email address. It's the same, johnsonforjudge2016@gmail.com, if they want to email directly.
All right. Are people starting to, you think, pay attention to, the local races out there?
I think voter fatigue with the national scene has finally subsided. So that with, you also have the U.S. Rep race coming along with Glenn and Jody.
Right.
So I think that that's probably garnering a little more attention. But once that runoff has taken place, if we do have a runoff, hopefully we'll be the only show along with anybody else that's in there as well.
All right. Well, great to have you in studio. We'll get you back before Election Day, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
All right. That's Phile Johnson, for Municipal Court Judge.